Here.
Dean Button.
Here.
Nathaniel Harris. Ann Herbert.
Here.
William Hutton.
Here.
Juan Moreno.
Here.
Sharon Zaney.
Here.
Janet Vanez.
Here.
Thomas White. 7 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Our next order of business is the election of officers for this coming year. Are there any nominations for president?
Mr. President, I'd like to nominate Thomas White as President of the Plan Commission for 2018.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any others? Hearing no others, Mr. White is the president. Thank you.
Should probably take a vote.
Roll call?
Yeah.
Roll call vote, please, for Mr. White.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
Ann Herbert.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Juan Moreno.
Yes.
Sharon Zaney.
Yes.
Janet Vanez.
Yes.
7 yes, 0 nays. Motion passed.
Thank you. For vice president, do we hear any nominations?
Mr. President, I would like to nominate Mr. William Hutton as Vice President of the Plan Commission for 2018.
Second that motion.
Thank you. Any other nominations? You're adjourned. Roll call vote, please.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
Dean Button.
Yes.
Ann Herbert.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Juan Moreno.
Yes.
Sharon Zaney.
Yes.
Janet Vanez.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed.
Thank you. Now, for the appointment of a Plan Commission member to the BZA for 2018, are there any nominations?
Mr. President,
I'd like to nominate Thomas White for our representative to the BCA.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. We have to take a roll call vote, please.
Roger Brock.
Yes.
Dean Button.
yes.
Ann Herbert.
Yes.
William Hutton.
Yes.
Juan Moreno.
Yes.
Sharon Zaney.
Yes.
Janet Vanez.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed.
Thank you. We now need an approval of the minutes of December 19th, 2017.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the December 19, 2017 meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Are there any nays? Next item of business. Is there any old business?
There's no old business.
Thank you. New business, CP-18-01, petition of the Plan Commission to review the amending declaratory resolution 08-2017 of the Hammond Development Commission regarding amending the redevelopment plan for the Hammond Central redevelopment area, expanding the existing redevelopment area and related allocation area, consolidating the depot allocation area within the Hammond Central allocation area, and to determine its conformity with the comprehensive land use plan. Mr. Petitioner, if you would please sign in.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the Plan Commission. My name is Carl Sender. I'm president of Sender and Company. We're consultants to the Hammond Redevelopment Commission in the city. And I'm here tonight to give a brief presentation about this amendment that we're proposing, or that the Redevelopment Commission is proposing to take in regards to its redevelopment plan for the Hammond Central redevelopment area. Just to give a brief history, in 2008, there was a consolidation of several plans in several areas, including the Woodmore Mall area, Pullman Standard, Columbia Avenue, and Lear seating. These were all separate areas, and so in 2008, there was an effort to consolidate all those areas into a single area. And then in 2012, there was an expansion area that included the Gibson Yards area, and then again in 2015, there was an amendment to clear up some of the land uses, and there was a couple other items. If I refer you to the redevelopment plan that's in your packet on page 16, I apologize, I don't have larger maps for the folks at home that are viewing this tonight, but this shows the expansion area that was done in 2012. That is primarily the Gibson Yards area. That's quite a significant area, but most of that is all industrial, some commercial property in that area. So tonight, then, we're here to make two additional expansion areas. The first, as I believe you have mentioned, is the Summer Street sub-area expansion area. And if you flip then to page 19 of the report, it's map 3A. Kind of a narrow strip of property that's primarily industrial. There's some residential along that area. It's generally along 165th Street, and then it goes up to Summer Street, all along Summer Street, and then is adjacent to Indianapolis Boulevard, and then comes back over again to 165th Street. So again, this is primarily industrial, some residential that we're proposing to, again, add into the Hammond Central area. The second section that we're proposing to add is the Indianapolis Boulevard sub-expansion area, and the map is on page 20, map 3B. And this is really from alley to alley along Indianapolis Boulevard from 167th Street, I believe, all the way then to the south to the Expressway. 165th, okay, I'm sorry. My eyes aren't quite focusing on those small print. So 165th from alley to alley along Indianapolis Boulevard all the way then to the Expressway. And the purpose really of these expansion areas in this redevelopment plan is really to provide for opportunities for gainful employment, to assist in areas needing redevelopment, addressing those areas that are underutilized and have barriers for normal economic or redevelopment that would occur without this being as a part of the plan. And also our hope is that we would expand some new businesses into these areas or have expansions of these areas, and for the benefit of public health, safety, and welfare, and other well-being for the city, and finally also to help increase property values within the city. So this is not unlike other plans that have come before you. It's really to, again, further those opportunities. And primarily, again, it's these two expansion areas that we're really proposing. The final piece is then to consolidate then the home or the depot allocation area that was originally part of the original consolidated area that was done back in 2008. It was a standalone area, but the allocation area we want to now include in the Hammond Central allocation area. So that's really a brief summary that I have for you tonight. I believe Mr. Pullen probably has some additional comments for changes that were made to the plan from when we originally presented it to the Redevelopment Commission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'd now like to open the meeting to the...
I'd like to make a presentation on corrections.
Okay. Mr. Pullen.
Before you in your packet, you should have a version that is the plan that's dated December 19, 2017, but also has the Plan Commission technical corrections dated January 16, 2018. In reviewing the plan, somewhat before the redevelopment commission's approval and then afterwards, there were some technical errors in the language, and those have been put together in this document, and this is the version that we're asking that the Plan Commission agree to send to the City Council for their approval, and then come back to the Redevelopment Commission for a confirmatory resolution to approve this particular version. Some of the technical corrections were related, of course, to the land use section. The land use section is a very important part of the plan when it comes to what the Plan Commission's jurisdiction is. In order for the Plan Commission to determine that it's compliant with the comprehensive plan, of course, we want the land use language in this plan to be consistent in order to make that. There were some technical errors in which, for example, on page 25, where the zoning districts were referenced, and in the version that was sent to the City Council, or excuse me, the version that was sent to the Redevelopment Commission, it made reference to I-1 as the zoning district when in fact it's I-2. There was some tweaking of some references to some of the design issues, the requirements. There was some materials that were irrelevant that was in the original plan that were removed. A lot of what happens, it gets confusing about this, is when you have a plan that starts out in one geographical area and then it's amended to expanded, then that's the 2012 expansion. You're trying to make a correlation between all of those different geographical areas in those plans. So the structure of this document is that the consolidated Woodmar-Pullman sub-area, which was the original redevelopment area. There's plan documents that go back to the 1990s. Those are being unaltered except for something I'll refer to in a second. And then the 2012 expansion area has its own text and language. And these two sub-areas for Summer Street and Indianapolis Boulevard, this document refers to just those geographical areas. The version of the Redevelopment Commission kind of mixed that up a little bit. So we spent a lot of time making this document distinct, that it would not confuse and overlap the previous documents and make it difficult for the administration of it. The other thing that we did change, if you look at Appendix A, which is right after page 37, page A1. This page is referring to the Woodmar sub-area and is actually making a technical change to the plan that's written in that document from the 90s. And the way this sheet is laid out is that it is repeating the text from the original document, and the source of that is page 16 of that particular document that was approved in 2005. And we're amending the language that is shown in italics, and that italics underlined italics, and that is under the Woodmar Shopping Center area. And that is where we put some language in there to reflect the sportsplex, because that was not in the original plan, because the sportsplex was not contemplated at the time that those plans were written. And so therefore, we felt it was necessary to go back and amend that part of the plan that refers to that particular geography and make sure that the sportsplex is supported in the document. In reference to the Indianapolis Boulevard expansion area, there are some other statements there about supporting the sportsplex, but the sportsplex is not in that particular geography, so that's why we had to go back to amending the text of the plan for where the sportsplex is physically located. So this is the version that we're asking that you send on to the City Council for their approval. The role of the Plan Commission is to determine whether or not this plan is compliant with the comprehensive plan.
Thank you, Mr. Poland. Commissioners, any questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to the open part of our meeting where the general public has an opportunity to come forward and voice any opinions, ask any questions. Anybody in the public? Anybody in the public? Public session is now closed. Any further questions, comments by the commissioners? Mr. Poland, would you like to read your recommendation?
Yeah, so in your packet is my staff report. In my description that I gave prior to this, I tried to, I basically have stated the background section of this plan, or excuse me, of my report. And if you refer to the second page of it, just to say that, again, the role of the Plan Commission is to determine whether or not the plan, as amended by the Plan Commission, is compliant with the comprehensive plan. So the staff recommendations, there's actually 6 points that need to be addressed. Recommend that the Plan Commission approve and adopt the technical corrections to the redevelopment plan for the Hammond Central redevelopment area, Summer Street sub-area expansion area, and Indianapolis Boulevard sub-area expansion area. Make a determination that the amending declaratory 07-2017, which is the redevelopment commission's resolution, that the redevelopment plan with these said technical corrections are in conformity with the 1992 comprehensive plan as amended. Adopt this report as the Plan Commission's findings of fact. Adopt Plan Commission Resolution 2018-01. Determine that this report as findings of fact and the PC Resolution 2018-01 both constitute the Plan Commission's written order for compliance with the official plans of the City of Hammond, and then forward the Plan Commission's written order to the Common Council with a favorable recommendation. So the other documents to refer to is then you have Plan Commission Resolution PC 2018-01. That again, that is written in such that it is discussing the plan as amended by the Plan Commission. And then the council resolution follows that same thought, that it is asking the council to confirm the Plan Commission's decision of determining conformity with the plan, conformity with the comprehensive plan, based on, again, the technical correction version of the redevelopment plan.
Thank you, Mr. Poland. Commissioners?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve and adopt the technical corrections to the redevelopment plan for the Hammond Central redevelopment area, Summer Street sub-area expansion, sub-area expansion area, and the Indianapolis Boulevard sub-area expansion area, to make a determination that amending declaratory resolution 07-2017 and said redevelopment area plan with said technical corrections are in conformity with the 1992 comprehensive plan as amended. 3, adopt this report as the Plan Commission's finding of fact. 4, adopt the Plan Commission's resolution 2018-01. 5, determine that this report as findings of fact and Plan Commission resolution 2018-1 both constitute the Plan Commission's written order for compliance with the official plans of the City of Hammond in accordance with Indiana Code 36-7-14-16A, and forward a favorable Plan Commission's written order to the Common Council with a favorable recommendation. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Button. Is
Mr.
there a
President?
second?
Mr. President, I'd like to second that motion.
Thank you very much. Roll call vote?
Roger Craig?
Yes.
Dean Button?
Yes.
Nathaniel Harris?
Yes.
Ann Herbert?
Yes.
William Hutton?
Yes.
Juan Moreno?
Yes.
Sharon Zane?
Yes.
Janet Canary?
Yes.
8 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, motion passed.
Brian, is there anything else we have to do with this?
You said all 6 points, right?
I did, other than to ask Mrs. Vaness to carry the water to the plan commission, or to the council.
Sorry.
Do we have to, doesn't she have to support the, don't we need to ask her to support
We
the,
already have, Councilman Warble has agreed to sponsor.
Oh, I
it,
see.
So we have that. But thank you, Janice, you want to be added.
Okay, move on. Thank you. Mr. Pullen, is there any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Commissioners, any comments? Any staff comments?
Please expect to have a Plan Commission meeting in February, and remember it's going to be the 20th. It's that Tuesday rather than that Monday because of President's Day.
Thank you. Any public comment? Is there a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Thank you very much.